Less than 80 hours of the window to go, and in a shock development, could Chelsea outcast Raheem Sterling sign for Manchester United, and United outcast Jadon Sancho for Chelsea? It's definitely one in at Arsenal, but could it be more? Mikel Merino has signed a 4-year deal, and Eddie Nketiah is closing in on a move to Crystal Palace. But could that leave Mikel Arteta chasing a forward before Friday's deadline? Good evening, welcome along to the Transfer Show. The summer window is reaching a frantic conclusion. Manuel Ugarte to Manchester United is close, but not done yet. Newcastle still haven't given up on Mark Guéhi, despite Friday's deadline looming. And is Ivan Toney now the answer to Chelsea's search for a number 9? Talks are underway, and Thomas Frank was unusually tight-lipped.
The Mark Guéhi story doesn't seem to go away. Are you still hopeful, or have you given up on Mark?
I'm not going to comment on individual players.
Things are happening, but still is not our player, and we have to wait and see how the situation finishes. Yes.
With Armando, it's of course a player that we've spoken to. I think that's pretty well known. There's discussions going on with Chelsea at the moment, so I've not been privy to them over the last 24 hours.
We have nothing to say about Ivan Toney.
It's a good job that we have plenty to say about Ivan Toney. Now, James Savundra, Michael Bridge is standing by, but we'll start with our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokol. Now, the transfer window never fails to surprise. Tonight, though, it's gobsmacked me. Jadon Sancho and Raheem Sterling. Sancho going to Chelsea, possibly. Sterling going to Manchester United. Tell us.
Well, look, the state of play at the moment is this, I think. My reading of the situation is that Chelsea are open to selling Raheem Sterling to Manchester United, and they're also open to buying Jadon Sancho from Manchester United. Now, the crucial thing is, if Raheem Sterling wants to move to United, remember the fact that he's played, of course, for City and Liverpool, and if Jadon Sancho wants to move to Chelsea, then I think Chelsea would consider making that happen. So that's where we are with Sterling and Sancho.
I'm gobsmacked. Gary Cottrell came through and said one player, Peter Beardsley, has played for all 3 clubs. Can you imagine if Raheem Sterling did play for Manchester United after wearing the blue of Manchester City and the red of Liverpool?
I can see it happening. I mean, I can understand it would be difficult, perhaps, for Manchester City supporters to see Raheem Sterling wearing a Manchester United shirt, but are they really that bothered? I don't think City fans are that bothered. Raheem Sterling had a great time at City, won lots of trophies, but for whatever reason, Pep Guardiola decided that it was the right time to sell him. I'm sure Raheem Sterling still has a lot of affection for Manchester City as well. I'm sure he does. But this is modern football. These kind of things happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying under certain circumstances, Chelsea are open to considering it.
All right, is this going to happen? Ivan Toney to Chelsea?
Well, look, Chelsea have made a move to sign Ivan Toney from Brentford. But of course, there's a big difference between making a move and actually signing a player. So what needs to happen for Ivan Toney to become the new Chelsea number 9? First of all, I think the transfer fee would have to be at a reasonable level for Chelsea, because Chelsea would say, look, he's only got 1 year left on his contract. Yes, he's a proven goal scorer, but we've got to be realistic when it comes to the transfer fee.
And let's not forget, Kaveh, it wasn't long ago when Thomas Frank said he's £100 million worth of player.
Yes, I remember that. I also remember him being valued at around £70 million. Now, apparently, he's valued at around £50 million. Chelsea, I don't think, would pay those kind of numbers. Also, remember, wages are going to be a big issue. Chelsea now have a new wage structure for new signings. They would want him to be on a base wage of, I think, around £70,000. He, of course, has a much, much bigger offer from Saudi Arabia. So I think, first of all, we have to wait and see if Chelsea make the move. Then if they do make the move, we have to wait and see what Ivan Toney would want to do. What is interesting, of course, is that the Saudi window closes on Monday. I'm not sure Brentford want to be in a situation where Ivan Toney is still a Brentford player after the deadline closes on Friday here, because then there would only be one bidder at the table, and that would be Saudi Arabia. Although having said that, Thomas Frank has always said, look, if Ivan Toney stays at Brentford, I'm very, very happy. And if I was a Brentford fan, I'd be really happy as well, because he's a fantastic player. I loved watching him in the few chances he got for England during the Euros. He's somebody who can step up to any level. He's got that confidence. You've seen the way he takes penalties. He's got an incredible penalty record. And that famous no-look penalty was one of the best moments of the Euros for me. Interestingly, if he was to become a Chelsea player, and I'm getting ahead of myself here, who would take the penalties? Because he's got a brilliant record. Cole Palmer as well has got an incredible record as well.
We all know Tony's attributes. So why has it taken Chelsea all this time to start getting an interest?
Oh, that's a very good question. Because this is the transfer window. I think Chelsea are trading. They're buying and selling players. They're moving out high earners, trying to bring in younger players on lower wages. But I take your point. I don't think he was Chelsea's number one target at the start of the summer. He's a player they've been looking at. Obviously, people have known that potentially he's available in the transfer market this summer. They're looking for a number 9, a proven goal scorer. For what it's worth, I think he'd be a fantastic signing for Chelsea. But the big issue is the financials, and also the big issue is this offer from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. You talk about trading and Chelsea's business. Romelu Lukaku on his way to Italy to sign for Napoli. So that begs the question, where does that leave Victor Osimhen?
Well, Victor Osimhen, the situation this evening is this. The people I've been speaking to regarding a possible move for Victor Osimhen to Chelsea, people closely involved in the deal, I've said to them, are there talks ongoing at the moment? What they said to me is, Carve, everyone is talking to everybody. So that tells me that there are talks going on at the moment about Chelsea signing Victor Osimhen. Do I think it could happen? I think it is a possibility. No more than that, because of the size of the transfer fee and also because of his wages. Again, I'm sounding like a broken record. Chelsea will not pay crazy transfer fees for players, and they will not pay crazy wages either. But Lukaku's gone to Napoli basically now. It'll probably be done tomorrow. That means that Napoli are under even more pressure to sell Victor Osimhen. He's out of the picture there under Antonio Conte. They need to get his wages off the books. I was told if there's a deal to be done at a realistic level, then Chelsea are willing to do that deal. Quickly, on PSG and the possibility of them signing him. Earlier this summer, they were in talks to sign him. The latest information I have just in the last few minutes is those talks are now dead. Unless something materially changes with what Napoli are asking for, then PSG won't be making a move. I think they're ready to make a move, but I think they think it's over. It's not going to happen. They're not expecting to get phone calls from people saying, yes, the transfer fees come down, the wages have come down. And PSG are very happy with the business they've done this summer. They've bought some players who they think are exceptional at good value deals. And I think they kind of feel that Victor Osimhen is over. They're not going to revisit that deal. But if somebody calls them and says the prices come down, the wages have come down, then they're prepared to make a move. Which makes me feel, just my feeling, no more than that Chelsea are a more likely destination for him than PSG this evening if he does leave Napoli.
Carve Solikol, our chief reporter with all the news. PSG, Chelsea, the lot. Incidentally, we know that Chelsea have got a lot of players they've got to get rid of, which means the transfer show is absolutely unmissable. Carve, thank you very much. We are gearing up to what is going to be an incredibly busy end to the window. You can follow every move on deadline day from 7 o'clock on Friday morning. It is going to be some window. And of course, it's not just about Chelsea. Loads of people are doing deals. Let's get the deals away from Chelsea. As you can see, James Savundra, Michael Bridge have snuck in. James, all right, let's start with a done deal. Arsenal, Mikel Merino. Tell us the deal.
Yes, this will be their third permanent summer signing, if you include David Raya, who confirmed from Brentford that season-long loan deal. That was extended. Ricardo Calafiori as well. In terms of Merino, €37.5 million, including performance-related add-ons. A 4-year deal for a 28-year-old with the option for Arsenal to extend it by a further year. He'll be in line to make his debut this weekend on Saturday when they host Brighton. In terms of an update on an imminent outgoing, Fabio Vieira, he's arrived in Porto ahead of what looks like being a season-long loan.
Michael, Eddie Nketiah, tell us.
Yeah, close to leaving Arsenal, joining Crystal Palace. We talked about Eddie Nketiah all summer. A bit like Emile Smith-Rowe, maybe time for a change. Fee of around £25 million, initial payments up to £30 million. Nketiah wants first-team football, probably a move that suits all parties. Hopefully, we'll hear from Oliver Glasner later on that potential Eddie Nketiah sign. We know Crystal Palace wanted another forward. They're very close to announcing Eddie Nketiah.
Arsenal fans are going to be a bit worried, aren't they? Because if Eddie Nketiah goes, and we know Arteta wants another forward in, could they end up being left short up front?
That is a concern for Arsenal fans right now because Gabriel Jesus missed the game at the weekend against Aston Villa due to injury. We don't think it's too severe, but it looks like he could miss the game against Brighton. The fortunate thing for Arsenal is they do have the international break, so it's time for him to heal. But the one concern Arsenal fans have is Gabriel Jesus. He's popped up with important goals, but there have been the injuries over the course of the past 2 seasons. I think context is needed when it comes to Eddie Nketiah. He had a really good start to last season, but he's not started a single Premier League match for Arsenal in 2024. Kai Havertz is the frontline number 9 now, but you do fear if there are any injuries. I guess the options are there's versatile forwards like Martinelli and Trossard who could step in as a centre-forward if required. But I think with time running out, it looks unlikely they're going to sign a number 9 in this window. There won't be any panic buys, but the fact that Mikel Arteta said, if we can do something, we'll do it, suggests that they're looking at their options, so we're keeping one eye on Arsenal towards the end of this transfer window.
Yeah, there's loads going on. Man United, they've spent £200 million already in that attempt to get back in the Champions League. Manuel Ugarte, Michael, we've been talking about him, but this isn't done yet, is it?
Yet, but it's extremely close now. There's a full agreement with PSG for the transfer of Manuel Ugarte. We've said all summer that Manchester United wanted a new central midfielder, and this was the prime target, and they're extremely close to getting that prime target in. Both clubs were looking for a permanent deal, which we've told you all summer. Talking about the differences in prices, Man United we believe to be very happy with that deal agreed there, which we can see there, £50.7 million. PSG wanted more, but United knew that the player wanted to come, and ultimately PSG feel they're pretty well stocked in central midfield. So he moves on with their best wishes, and Man United get the player they want, and maybe, just maybe, completes what Erik ten Hag was looking for. Forward, got him. Right back, got him. Centre back, got him. Midfielder, nearly got him.
Nearly got him, but the reason he's only nearly and not done yet, is that anything to do with the fact that Scott McTominay has not moved out of the club yet?
Well, we've said, like with a lot of deals all summer, you know, one in, one out, but the one out is very close. Scott McTominay finalising terms of his contract ahead of a move. All being well, he'll fly out tomorrow for a medical and sign off on those personal terms and be a new Napoli player under Antonio Conte. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he gets on there in Serie A. I mean, the fans really do like him. Sure, they'll be sad, but a big new opportunity for him.
Are you surprised United would let McTominay go, given how important he was to them last season?
Well, I think a lot of fans have mixed views on it, but I think ultimately United need to get into a situation where they're a football club that is profiting when it comes to transfers, and they're gaining money from selling academy graduates with the likes of Mason Greenwood and Scott McTominay departing in this window. That's more than £50 million in pure profit, which goes a long way in terms of complying with PSR rules. It's been a really successful window for Erik ten Hag after getting the backing in the summer. 5 names, as Bridgie's saying, coming in. Lenny Yoro, unfortunately, on crutches, so he'll be out for a couple more months. But United are looking in a good place at the moment, and for a business, they're being run far better now, far more efficient when it comes to getting those transfer targets over the line. There's no long, drawn-out sagas anymore, and it looks like they're starting to sell well. I know after playing more than 200 times for Manchester United, a lot of those season ticket holders will be gutted not to see Scott McTominay play again. He simply needs first-team minutes. He needs another opportunity. United need to start selling well, which they'll get. 25 million for Scott McTominay. Good business.
£200 million, as I say, Ten Hag spent. Scraped to win the opening weekend of the Premier League. lost it this weekend, got Liverpool coming up. How much pressure is he under, Michael?
Well, it's only game 3, but it just feels massive already, that, doesn't it? Especially Arne Slot has slotted in well at Liverpool. That's awful, isn't it? But it's a good start for Arne Slot. But look, was anyone massively surprised that United lost at Brighton at the week? I can't say I was massively. But look, maybe the FA Cup win did keep Eric Ten Hag's job, but there are major changes now. Emma Barada, chief executive, moving from Manchester City to Manchester United. Dan Ashworth, Sir Dave Brailsford, Jason Wilcox. There is a lot of change at Manchester United. We'll just wait and see how they get on in terms of the recruitment, because he's got what he wanted.
Bit of change at Manchester City. I don't often get to do the breaking news on the transfer show, but I'm doing this one. João Cancelo to Al Hilal from Manchester City. Done deal. He has left City for £21 million. Cancelo, no longer a Pep Guardiola player. Breaking news for me. Premier League wrap with them is next. See you in a moment.
Welcome back to the transfer time. It's time now to go around all 20 Premier League clubs. Here's your bite-sized Premier League roundup. Michael, kick us off.
Right, let's go. Start with Arsenal. Mika Marino has completed his move to Arsenal from Real Sociedad. He signed a 4-year contract in a deal worth just under £32 million.
Let's get to Aston Villa. Samuel Elling Jr. has joined Bologna on loan barely 2 months after moving to Aston Villa from Juventus.
Well, Kepa is currently undergoing his Bournemouth medical ahead of a loan move from Chelsea.
Let's get to Brentford. Clock is ticking now for Ivan Toney to get a move. Chelsea are interested, but a deal is only going to happen if the fee and wages are at a reasonable level.
Well, Brighton are finalising a deal for Ferdi Kadaglu from Fenerbahce, a Turkish record at £25.3 million.
Get this, Bridgie. Chelsea in talks with Manchester United over the sale of Raheem Sterling and a separate deal to sign Jadon Sancho. As we said, Chelsea have also made moves to sign Ivan Toney.
Busy one for them, potentially deadline day. Now, Crystal Palace are close to signing Arsenal striker Eddie Nketiah in a deal worth in the region of £30 million.
Everton interested in signing Lyon's Oral Mangala. Talks have taken place with the defensive midfielder. He'll have a medical tomorrow.
Marco Silva said Fulham need to sign a winger before deadline day. Bobby took it over Reed and Willian departed this summer.
Kieran McKenna confirmed that Ipswich are still in talks with Chelsea over a potential deal for striker Armando Broja.
Leicester are working under very tight financial restrictions but still want to add their attacking options before Friday's deadline.
Sky in Italy are reporting that Liverpool target Federico Chiesa will give Barcelona a further 24 hours to guarantee they can register him before considering other options.
But it's now unlikely that Manchester City will bring in a forward to replace Julian Alvarez. As for outgoings, João Cancelo has joined Saudi Arabian side Al Hilal for £21 million.
Manchester United closing in on a fifth signing this summer. They're full agreement with PSG for the signing of midfielder Manuel Ugarte.
Newcastle are still hoping they can agree a deal with Crystal Palace for Mark Gay.
Nottingham Forest, they're looking for a striker. They've had a bid rejected by Brentford for forward Johan Visser as their search goes on.
Goalkeeper Justin Barlow's move to Southampton is off due to complications found in his medical. Southampton are now considering another offer for Aaron Ramsdale.
Tottenham, they got plenty of business done already, haven't they, Bridgie? Now they're focusing on outgoing. Giovanni Lo Celso and Sergio Reguilon could leave before Friday's deadline.
Well, West Ham have been busy in terms of incomings. Now listen to offers for a few players, including James Ward-Prowse in the final few days of the window.
This one just into us. Wolves are close to agreeing a deal with Crystal Palace, their goalkeeper, Sam Johnston.
Reminder, every game from this week's EFL Cup exclusively live on Sky Sports Plus. You can see the lot. And the soccer special right after us. They're already gearing up. Jules is joined tonight by Clinton Morrison, Jamie Mackey, Troy Deeney and Steve Sidwell. They are all in position, even Clinton.
Not
soccer
Clinton
special,
again.
7 o'clock. Oh. Right, we've got a couple of minutes left, so I'm going to put you two on the spot, OK? Michael, start with you. Does Mark Gay get a move?
Oh. I hope Crystal Palace fans aren't watching. Oh, do you know what? I'm going to say no.
Why?
I think it's getting to a stage now where Joachim Andersen has moved on. It's been quite a number of outgoings. And I think Palace would have to get a couple of central defenders in, and I think that's a tough ask with a couple of days to go because they need it more than one. They've sold Andersen. Andersen was good money, but they still need to bring... Andersen's a very good player. I think to lose Andersen and Gay, I'd be slightly concerned. OK. James, will Chelsea get a number 9?
I think it could happen. We know Victor Osimhen is some of them they're interested in. Ivan Toney, I just think it gets these final days of the transfer window, Mike, and that brinkmanship, that negotiating power just wanes from clubs. Brentford, they want to get some money for Ivan Toney. They don't want to risk him going for free, signing a contract with their club in January. So I think as we get closer and closer to that deadline, that asking price could come down. Tony's asking price in terms of his wages could come down. That could easily happen, that move to Chelsea.
What do you think? Do you see it happening?
Yeah, possibly. But I looked at it as more of a deadline day one. So to get these kind of moves with a few days left it's a bit of a wow. That was when we first got the news. Wow, when that email came through.
Speaking of wow, does Raheem Sterling get a move to a Premier League club, James?
Well, we spoke about this a few days ago, and in terms of the top 6 options for Raheem Sterling, they seem very limited. But now Man United have come into the equation, and Man United have got a Jadon Sancho problem. Whether Eric Ten Hag thinks that Raheem Sterling can play a more significant role than Jadon Sancho could, whether the deal works out financially or not, I'm not sure. Apart from Man United, I don't see any other big Premier League clubs that Raheem Sterling, at this present moment, on Tuesday evening, would like to join. But as we get towards the end of that deadline, with Chelsea looking to get rid of him, he may have to take something which he wouldn't have thought about taking on a few days ago.
Last one, 10 seconds. Will Liverpool sign anybody?
No.
No.
There you have it. That is the transfer show for today. Coming up next, Soccer Special. There's loads going on this evening. We've got 18 games in the Carabao Cup. And Hinton and the boys are there. Enjoy your night.